I'm so excited to have the Super Bowl edition with the incredible Peter O'Reilly, Executive Vice President of Club Business and League Events for the NFL. Peter, welcome to the Playbook.
Thanks, Dave. Thanks for having me. Look forward to talking.
You know, so many people want to work in sports once they realize they can't play. I was one of those people as well. And I think your title to me illustrates that there's so many opportunities to work in sports that are aligned with your skills, your capabilities, your knowledge, and your desire. And for you, you know, it is an odd title. People probably go, what does that exactly do? So I'm going to start to help entrepreneurs who want to work in sports understand by starting just with the title. What would someone who's executive vice president of club business and league events for the NFL actually do?
So there are two parts to it. Obviously, the league events may be easiest for people to get their head around. I'm fortunate to be in a role where I'm kind of the general manager of the big league events. So like the Super Bowl, the NFL draft, the Pro Bowl, our NFL kickoff events. So a lot of the things that are big tentpole platforms, I'm fortunate to be able to work across the organization and with the cities and our broadcasters and others and trying to pull those together. So that's one piece. The club business piece, though there are a lot of connection points, is working with the 32 teams and how do we help them grow their businesses? How do we support them? Almost like an in-house consultancy that helps the clubs to grow their fan base, grow their ticket sales, and work through the overall fan experience. So those are the two pieces boiled down.
You know, it's so funny because anybody that has a job for the NFL, they think it's all cake and cookies. And I always love to ask people that work with the NFL, and I'm blessed to have so many of our friends that work there, but it's not always cake and cookies. So I'd love to ask you two things. Number one, what's your favorite thing about your job and working with the NFL? And then give me one thing that you don't like about it.
This week, Super Bowl week, just shines a spotlight on how fortunate I and we are to be working in this business with the platform we have, and just to have the platform. And there have been a bunch of reminders over the last week, Dave, when we invited 7,500 vaccinated healthcare workers to be our guests at the Super Bowl. I've been fortunate the last 2 days to be on video conferences like this, talking to and inviting them to the game, and just the pure emotion and how happy they are to get a little bit of a respite. It kicks in a reminder, if you need one, of how special this is and how much joy we can bring to people. So that may sound a little Pollyanna, but that's the piece that I love the most. Is we've got an incredible stage, whether it's the draft or the Super Bowl or the Pro Bowl, to do big things, great sporting events, great football, but it's bigger than that.
Before I get to just one of your challenges, I really want to talk about that Pollyanna attitude, because the thing that inspired me when I ran Lee Steinberg and working with Warren Moon in sports, like, I don't think people realize the significant impact that giving somebody a ticket to the Super Bowl in appreciation can have on them. It's a life-turning event. You know, I have a 10-year-old son. I've been in this business almost, my entire year, for over 25 years. I think I just told you, it's been 23 years that I haven't been at a Super Bowl. And I love having a 10-year-old son because every day it reminds me how blessed I am to be able to impact others with such a light and so much love, that I think people don't realize it is a business, but it's a business that you can change lives. These are lifetime memories, not just, hey, a good time memory. These are lifetime memories that these people who have sacrificed their life will remember forever and share. And that's why I think the NFL is the most popular sport 2-1 in America, is it's the most impactful of all of them.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. And those things impact those fans' lives, those people's lives, but that's the piece that just propels us and impacts our lives. And my life is just to see those interactions and make it personal, and to be able to do the type of community and legacy events we're doing this week down in Super Bowl, where it's not just we're done in Tampa on Sunday, it's the things that will carry on beyond. So I agree with you. That is, we're also fortunate to be able to have the impact we can have.
And with that impact, it's kind of going back to old school. You're limited to 22,000 fans at the stadium, but there's a ton of challenges because of the pandemic. Making sure that everybody stays safe in a variety of different ways. Can you share with me one of your most unanticipated challenges is, considering the pandemic and what you have to face this week?
Yeah, it is. A lot of things are different for sure, just fundamentally different. Like you said, it's limited capacity. So we'll have actually with the suites, we'll have 25,000 fans in here. So, which is great, but Raymond James is a 65,000 plus. So, and 7,500 of those will be, as we talked about, vaccinated healthcare workers. So we will have 30,000 fan cutouts in here. So when you turn on the TV on Sunday, it's going to look packed, but the fan cutouts are creating the physical distancing between those pods. So it'll actually be visually probably a little startling to people, but there's a lot of cutouts in there and a lot of cool folks you might be able to spot in there. Some youth football players, high school football players, veterans, cancer survivors. So trying to really honor some great people who can't be there overall.
Did you put any beer holders on some of them so people can give them a beer?
Well, we'll see. I know the Bud Light that fits Bud Light's campaign this year, but we will see. There'll be some Easter eggs in there as well, so you may see some people in there. But some cool things. Just all of the Super Bowl MVPs will be in there. All the men of the year. So,
nice. That means Warren Moon will be there. That's got my vote. That's awesome.
No, he'll be in there for sure. So, I mean, the challenges are many. It's you kind of take the normal Super Bowl campus, just take the campus, which you've seen and is massive. We've spread everything out. We've taken things off the field, all of the CBS sets, the ESPN sets, the NFL Network sets, nothing is on the field. And we've tried to, innovate in Super Bowl. You've watched games all season. We've had tarps around the lower bowl. For this game, we actually are putting beautiful LED around blocking the 7 rows. That's got a health benefit, really keeping separation between the field and the first row of fans. But we also think it's going to create just a beautiful canvas to showcase content during the game and otherwise. So I guess I would say, Dave, that there's every turn, there's just a challenge but it's trying to, okay, what are we trying to solve here? Health and safety 1, 2, and 3 in terms of the decisions. And then can we turn something that's a challenge into an innovation?
Which you've done such an extraordinary job with, turning some of our challenges through just education into innovation, meaning I've always, over the last 4 years, talked about the stage theory. So you had the Pro Bowl, which actually was, for me, the way that the Pro Bowl should be played from now on. I think it should be an award show with a little bit of sponsorship in Madden or something else involved, just because of the way the health and safety of the players and the businesses run, picking the teams. And, the Pro Bowl, for those that may not be as old as me, used to be after the Super Bowl. It was actually a competitive game. And now, with obviously the Super Bowl quarterbacks, especially not being able to participate, I thought the Pro Bowl, was better than normal and an innovation I like to see. But there's so many other innovations that have accelerated in this stage theory that we all know billions literally will watch the game. And even at 65,000, the extra 40,000 people or so doesn't really make the true difference. And so being able to innovate with LED screens, all types of hands-free types of things, like I know Visa, for example, you have the first cash-free environment. I don't think personally that may not have been instituted so quickly if it wasn't for, what we're going through, but what an extraordinary advancement, because that's the way everything's going.
Yeah, I agree with you. There's this acceleration that is just, kicked in this year out of necessity. And there are things that just have the double win of creating a healthier environment and I think a better fan experience. And like you said, partners have brought us that. First ever cashless Super Bowl. Visa has been a huge partner in that. You show up at the game with some cash, we got the reverse ATM there so you can get the Visa card. First fully mobile Super Bowl. So, 0 hard stock tickets. And we were on our way to that. And all 32 clubs were on their way to that. But right around 98% of fans, and of the million plus fans who did attend a game this year, had entered on a mobile ticket. And that was coming over the next few years. It just, boom, now we're there. It's fully mobile environment, which is better for fans. You can get that push notification on game day, communicate with them. All of those things, to your point, touchless, faucets, all those things that are just it. The pandemic has been horrific and taken so many lives and impacted us all. But it has, in this very specific case, accelerated innovation in a positive way.
Yeah, one of the other cool ones that I like is Fan Gauge, that you have the very first virtual autograph stage, and taking what has always been one of the greatest interactions that occurs at Super Bowls and Pro Bowls, in my opinion, especially with kids. Now you've taken it, I think, again, accelerated through innovation, something that I think will expand not only through the NFL, but other teams, leagues, and organizations, I think, are going to pick up on what Fan Gauge is doing with you guys. Give me a little bit of insight on how the virtual signings are going to happen.
Yeah, so we are still doing we're doing Super Bowl Experience. It's the one fan event we're doing, because even before the pandemic, we were doing it fully outside along the Tampa Riverwalk. So fully outdoors and free. So that was, better to be lucky than good on that one. But it was, to your point, autograph signings are such a part of all of our fan events, and working with Fan Gauge, the ability to do that virtually, where a player is not there on site. They're on they got a tablet there. They are signing their name. So that is authentic and theirs. And then the ability for that to then be placed on the item or on the picture or that element for that fan. It just, to your point, whether it is the fan who's at Super Bowl Experience or the fan at home, just that aperture is widened, so you can just reach that many more people. And I think that the whole notion of what a player appearance has just been changed, because obviously there's nothing like meeting a player and shaking his hand and posing for a picture. And that will come back when we get post-pandemic. But the ability to scale and reach people through virtual appearances is not going away.
The other thing, beyond allowing the vaccinated healthcare workers to come to the game, you guys have other special activations that you're doing. What are some of the things that you're doing, not only just for the vaccinated healthcare workers, but other special activations?
Yeah. So we are, just for that group, the 7,500, we're putting on a specific concert pregame. Normally, as you know, there's a big tailgate and hospitality events around Super Bowl. That's not happening. None of that is happening.
That's my business, so I know those aren't happening. That's why I'm not there.
No, understood. So, but we are putting on a concert exclusively for those 7,500 vaccinated healthcare workers, a Miley Cyrus concert with some guests and otherwise, and give hopefully a little bit of an eye towards what's in our future. And be an example for these folks got vaccinated, and hopefully that will continue at pace. And then beyond that, as you know, every Super Bowl has its unifying and positive moments. And I think this year we all need that more than ever. So in the pregame window, you'll see a number of moments that we think will reflect this year and hopefully provide a bit of hope, positivity, and what's on the horizon. One of those is our honorary captain moment, where we've partnered with Amanda Gorman, who the world got to know during the inauguration with her beautiful.
I said you stole the show. You stole the showstopper of the inauguration. Now you have the showstopper for the Super Bowl.
So interestingly, we started talking to Amanda in early November before she knew she was even going to be part of the inauguration or otherwise. So
that's awesome.
We asked her to write a poem about three helpers, if you will, an incredible COVID nurse, an incredible wounded warrior, an incredible educator, kind of representing the best of our society. And she has written a beautiful poem that'll be leading into the coin toss.
All right, last question, because I'd be amiss not to ask, as I get key executives on the playbook all the time. And I have so many entrepreneurs where we started that would love to work in sports. And a lot of people need to transition now, and they're looking for a job or a career that follows, or an industry that follows their passion now that they've been furloughed or laid off, or just in through the stoppage. Self-reflection has said, you know what, my life's too short. So I'd love to get from you some advice on how to get a job in sports. Obviously, I'm sure you're overloaded with resumes, as I am, but people that have been in the business probably didn't plan to be, as I repeat, the executive vice president of club business and league events for the NFL when you were at Notre Dame going to college. And I'm sure you love that job as it is. What advice would you give to these entrepreneurs out there that are going through these transitions if they want to move towards having a job in sports?
Yeah, it's I've been so fortunate to have a career in sports, and it's interesting. And I'll circle around to the question, but it was at Notre Dame when, like you mentioned at the top, I realized I was not going to be a professional athlete, and I was hanging it up, and that's when I started working with the football program at Notre Dame, and was one of the head football managers. And it's amazing how many of the things that I was doing working for the football program at Notre Dame as an undergraduate, and handling tickets and travel and behind the scenes and charting plays on the sideline, are just pulled through in what I ultimately are doing now. So it's just, I know this is a bit cliche, but it goes back to just zeroing in on what gave you incredible happiness and where you were successful early in life, and kind of finding those points, because it really comes through when you can have those passions meet a need. And as you know well, there's so many people who are passionate about sports, and that's not going to necessarily allow you to break through. But when you can find that need that you can fill, something that you just shine in, and the ability to do that. And I've always gravitated towards roles where you could pull people together, and it sounds trite, but kind of and get big things done. And that's to me, in whatever piece it is, there's opportunities. And the other thing I would say to your question is, so many of the people who are in leadership roles at the NFL came from other industries and have no sports experience or limited sports experience. So if someone's looking to come in, we are looking for those different perspectives and those different experience sets that you can pull in and allow us to get better, because we that's what the commissioner drives every day. Just relentless desire to get better. And we need to get that from outside voices as well. So there's so many different ways in. It's competitive, but there's so many ways in with the right attitude and approach.
Yeah. And it mirrors the approach that I always portray out there, to enjoy the consistent, everyday, persistent, without quit pursuit of your potential. Something that I've talked to the commissioner about over the years, and is exemplified by people like you that work to the NFL. And I don't want to discount, for those that haven't been to a Super Bowl, anyone that's been as long, and it's to as many as I have, the events themselves, as my wife will tell me every year, far exceed the game. And thank you so much for transforming those events to not only increase the enjoyment and engagement of our most popular sport in America, but also to unite us at a critical time, as you know. And so I think you'll see, I'm looking through the agenda going, oh man, Peter's done his job. He has overachieved again. I can't wait to see all the activations, all the entertainment, and most of all the impacted people and inspired people from what you have done on and off the field, before, during, and after the game. Thank you so much, Peter, for sharing your wisdom with me. It's Peter O'Reilly, Executive Vice President of Club Business and League Events for the NFL, here with David Meltzer, Entrepreneurs, the Playbook.